to LA Cyber Talks. I'm Suhas Devdatta, a SOC analyst. So basically, I come from a BAPT background and pen testing. Currently, I'm into SOC role. I handle SOC triaging, threat hunting, malware analysis, and all of that. So today we have two guests, Nitin and Tapan.
Hi.
Tapan. So Nitin is more into AppSec and BAPT background, and Tapan is basically is in the CH advisory board. So he's an auditor, and so Nitin, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. Let me start with my introduction. I was very keen and enthusiastic about cybersecurity. So I started my journey in 2019. Okay, and when I pass out my college, then I started with the learning basic things and all. Currently working as a assistant manager in DNIC in InfoSec, okay, and handling the end-to-end security, cloud security, application security, network security, and all. Yeah, I think this is.
So you're working as an assistant manager, an AppSec
Yes,
in DNS.
DNIC, yeah.
That's nice. Tapan, hello. Can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for inviting me on this podcast. My name is Tapan Kumar, and I'm having a 16 plus year experience in the field of a cybersecurity. I started my career at the very early stage because when I was in 11th class, I started my career as a cybersecurity. In first year, I was teaching ONGC and CRIS for doing a security testing, CEH, and I got many opportunity from various organization to train them. My purpose, like my job of into the industry is just to hack. The organization give me anything, and it can be any toy. It can be the web application API. It can be cars now these days, power plants, because I work for various OT security sectors as well. So that is also an important part. Even I work for multiple famous organization like Hero Motorcorp. Then I work for Himalaya Creams. I work for Emirates Airlines. Then I work for Burj Khalifa. That is a MAF group is there. So there are multiple organizations for which I have worked as a security analyst, as a penetration tester, and also I'm a CH advisory board member at EC Council. So based on our review, based on our experience, latest techniques, latest topics that needs to be added into the student curriculum, as well as what practical industry-based practical sort of things needs to be added. So we generally add those things into the curriculum.
Okay, that's good to know. You've got quite a deep, extensive experience.
Sure.
Uh, yeah, thank you. Nitin, I wanted to ask you this. So, what drew you specifically to the AppSec and bug bounty when you started the career in cybersecurity?
Yeah, sure. So when I started my career in college time, I was watching the movies in Hollywood. Sorry. So there I seen a lot of things, the hacking and all. So I was very enthusiastic about this, and I thought, okay, this is very interesting. We should go into this. So I started, and then I started learning the Linux and the core things of, and then I started doing the bug bounties and all. Learned a lot of things related in application, how the core systems works, in servers works, and networks and all. Then I started my career as a Linux system administrator. So I learned a lot of the things, and then I simply like slowly I started doing the things and in bug bounty and cyber security.
Okay, thank you. Tapan, I wanted to ask you. You have 16 years of experience in this field. In your even CH advisory board, Stanford mentor, and CISA. What does a week in your life actually look like today?
I miss your last point.
Yeah, what does a week in your life actually look like
So
with your extensive experience?
Okay, so basically, like on a daily basis, like I used to tell me, I used to tell about my daily path that I used to do, because I'm
Hmm.
having my own organization, four organization. I'm the CEO of the four
Okay.
different organization. So like on a daily basis, as a cybersecurity guy, Nitin also relate with me, because we are into the cybersecurity on a daily basis. We have to learn a lot, multiple things, because if we are not updated, then definitely we are out of the market. So because we are dealing with such kind of a technology which get evolved on a daily basis because of the use of an AI, the rapid enhancement in any industry, even in the API, we now these days OWASP also launched their OWASP top 10 for LLM. So on a daily basis, if we know about the background of anything, then only we can get into the systems, and we understand
Hmm.
the important point of that particular technology. So on a daily basis, we have to do lots of hunting, as well as there are various compliance, because I'm coming from a compliance background as well, a technical guy
Yes,
entering
yes.
into the compliance. Definitely it's a little bit boring task for me, because Nitin and me both are coming from a pen testing background. We used to hack and everything. So but when we do the compliance, there is a checklist that we need to follow, and we need to make sure that the organization should
Yes.
have all the controls in place. But what is the relevance, like when we do the pen testing, then we know the actual truth of it. So it's a it's a balancing multiple things together, seeing the priority of it. Okay, and then based on that we decide like what needs to be done. So these are the things that we generally do.
I totally agree with you. One more question. How does being on both the side of offensive side, VAPT, bug bounty, pen testing, and on the advisory and the governance side, how does seeing both the sides make you think different about security? Because you
See,
see an
yeah, both are different, exactly. So initially I started my career as a penetration tester only, so that like
Mhm.
doing the pen testing, finding the bugs, and identifying the issues. But slowly I get to know that only finding bugs doesn't make sense until unless I do not know about the controls. Because we put security, and if we wanted to hack into the security, we should know that what organization is implementing. If I know that you are like, let's suppose, if you, in order to safeguard something, if you are implementing some security, so if I know the security, then it will be much easier for me to break into it. So because of that curiosity, I you jump into the compliance part, 27001, then the CISA. So the priority is to understand what will be the depth of the organization they are putting the controls, and from the pen testing point of view, how we can penetrate into the system. So both are different, having different requirement. As a CISO, we need to look after for the standards, regulatory bodies, we have to satisfy their requirements. And from the penetration testing point of view, we also understand that the controls are not the only thing that we need to take care. But if we, like, see, what you think and what you implement, both are two different things, and the bug lies between of that only. If I am thinking that I need to put a multi-factor authentication, now where I am putting, that's also important one. Only one or two account, or all the accounts, understood? So the gap comes here only. And when your compliance says that you have to implement a multi-factor authentication, you have to provide a segmentation to like, segregate your network. So yes, I'm doing the segregation, but how I am doing it and how the attacker can bypass it, that's also very important story. So that's different from different point of view. So if you wanted to get into the cyber security, we have to learn all the things. And Nitin also have gone through with multiple controls, and we me also went to a lot of controls of different standards. So we understand, once you understand the architecture, not only the technology but the security controls also, then it will be much easier for us to do more penetration into the network or in infrastructure.
Yeah, Tapan, even I'm also agree with you. Like as I mentioned, like when I started, so initially we watch the movies, Hollywood movies and hacking, but real things is completely different, right? Implementing controls and policies. So we need to also understand these things. So I'm
Yeah.
agree with you. Yeah, right.
Yes, yes. Even I agree. Uh, yeah. So next, I want to ask a few auditing and pen testing questions. This one related to this one. So basically, here we have auditing. Basically, we verify against the standard, and pen testing we actually break into the environment to look for vulnerabilities. So I want to ask. Tapan, I want to ask you. Basically, you finished Isaka CISA in December 2025 itself. When you sit across from a CISO during an audit, what's the biggest gap between how they think the organization is secured and what you actually find on paper?
So from their point of view, when you sit with the CISO, so their first
Mhm.
requirement is to satisfy the compliance.
Okay.
They like their priority is not to improve the security. Their priority is to just satisfy what is actually there. So like in security testing also, when we do the testing and when we conduct a retesting, the clients, the priority is not to improve the security, to understand why it is there. Their priority is to just get a clean report. Okay, same goes with
Right.
the
Okay.
compliance also. Like when we talk with the CISOs, the CISO simply tell us that we need to satisfy the control. Doesn't matter like is our security is that much improved or not. Their priority is to just satisfy the controls so that we get the certification and we can give
Hmm.
the certification to the client and we got the project. Simple thing.
Right.
So thinking about improving a security, so that see we do pen testing, API testing, VAPT. Why? But just because it's a compliance requirement. If we will not conduct a
Okay.
penetration testing, then you will not be able to satisfy the compliance requirement. Getting a point? But we will not do a red
Yes.
teaming. Why?
Correct.
Because it's not a compliance requirement. So when we do a red teaming, so we are able to actually working to improve the security of our organization. So very less organization coming with this objective. We need to do a red teaming, finding the flaws into the system. So that's a challenge that we need to tell them, boss. This is a security for you only. If today or tomorrow, if your data will get leaked, your reputation, entire reputation will get damaged, and it's not repairable. You can't repair that, no. So you have to take it as a
Yes.
serious note. So, but totally depends on the organization. How CISO think.
Yeah.
Yes. Any inputs? Any inputs, Nitin?
No. You can go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, Tapan, I want to ask you. You train senior cybersecurity professionals at KPMG, Wipro, PwC, Bank of India, and a lot more, other organizations. So basically, what my point being, these are not juniors; these are experienced teams. What is the single biggest knowledge gap you find in India's senior security professionals?
Okay. So the knowledge gap that I generally find is like when we are into the 9 to 5 job. So at that time we have to do a lot of repetitive tasks. So we'll get less time to upgrade ourselves because we usually get a weekends, and weekends also we have to spend a lot of thing, like we already have a lot of pending tasks. So sometimes we will not get chance to upgrade ourselves. So when you see that the person is starting from VAPT background, security testing background, when he get experienced, he will not do a lot of hands on those tools again and again. He will stop learning about the practical approach of anything. So like when you read the news, like now these days when you read the cybersecurity news on hacker news and other platform, then sometimes you will not
Hmm.
be able to understand what is the technical depth of that particular vulnerability. You understand what is the vulnerability, but you do not understand the technical depth of that vulnerability. It's just because we are not upgrading ourselves, because we have a lot of tasks on a daily basis. Like organization do not give us the sufficient amount of time to upgrade ourselves. We go for the certification, but at the same time we are also in the office. So doing a 9 to 5 job, during that time you are going to attending your 8 hours a day training. It's almost very hectic. Now these days we conduct 5 days of training. So in a 5 days, 8 hours a day, what do you think we will be able to remember everything? And after that we have to go for a certification, and again when we complete the certification, might be possible after 6 months the project will be coming. So during this 6 months I was doing my old work only, because I was just training the NPTI. So they were using facing the same issue. Tapan, today you will teach us how to secure, how to build the security, but when we go back, so we have to do the old thing again. So we'll forget everything. So that's the issue that actually comes, that we need to tell them about some basics parts as well. They are very good whatever they are doing into the 9 to 5, but after that whatever new things are there, they are completely not aware about it. So upgrade is more
Yes.
important over it.
Yes. I agree. We need to keep upgrading ourselves, which is not given much importance. Yeah. My next question would be, as a CH advisory board member, you must actually research new attack methods and attack vectors that feed into the global CH curriculum. What technique or threat vector are you studying right now that most organizations have no idea is coming? any input on this? Any new techniques you can tell us
Yeah,
about?
because I started my career as a network pen tester because I'm from a networking
Hmm.
CISO guy. Okay, so slowly moving towards the server, then web API, mobile app, source code, then cloud, IoT. Now I am into the OT part because OT plays a very important role because as you know the as you
Hmm.
currently see the war condition is going on. Every country is trying to attack other country. The first thing that they are going to attack is the OT infrastructure in India. Okay, if the
Okay.
attack happens in India, so the first infrastructure that is get attacked is a power grid, the first one. The second one can be the aviation part because now these days multiple attacks are happening, and as per the compliance we are satisfied, okay, as our controls are in place. But from the when we talk about the security point of view, even in the automobile also you can see, okay, so there is a testing should be done more rigorously. So that's why right now I'm working on a OT part because OT is missing from the CEH course curriculum, so that I'm working on it
Okay.
right
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Since you mentioned OT, I have a few good questions on OT because I was about to bring that up next. Yeah. So basically, in OT, the hardware and software, basically hardware and software controls that it's one SCADA, all those things. So I want to ask you about that. So in NPTA, the National Training Institute is among your clients. So NPTA trains India's entire power sector workforce. The power sector engineers in India have minimal cybersecurity awareness, basically.
now.
So from your engagement with that ecosystem, what is the most alarming thing you've seen? What they don't know currently?
Multiple things that they don't know.
Okay. Okay.
Actually the thing is that their primary work is not to provide the security. Let's suppose you
Hmm.
are a software guy, and if I will ask you, do you know about the security testing, do you know about the process of it, do you know about the vulnerabilities that we have? So definitely it's not. So they do not have any specific person or any job role where you have to look for the security part on a daily basis. Now the previously the OT was isolated, but just because of a digital transformation in OT to IT, there is now there is a combination of these two things. Now it become more critical. See, if you are keeping your safe in your home, okay, and your home is locked, nobody have an access to your home, then it's okay. You can keep, you can open, you can make it open anytime. You can put a small lock also. But when you connect your locker with the public area, when you are putting a locker in a public area, at that time it's very much difficult for you to relate these things. The person who is working in the plant having limited knowledge about IT, and you are going to connect your
Hmm.
OT to the IT, so basically they need a lot of training. And like they already have a predefined works, which basically they need to spend around 7 to 8 to 9 hours, 12 hours sometime. And you are thinking
Yes.
that they will upgrade themselves and then they will implement after 12 months, or because it's a government process, it takes longer time to implement such technologies. So the first thing that the person, those who are dealing with the technology, they are not that much familiar. So we have to make them familiar, they understand all those things, they have already studied, but they are not right now working on it. So that's the biggest challenge. So we have to teach them from start from the basics. Some of them are very advanced, some of them are very basic. So we have to align the training in such a way that they are able to perform the attacks, they are able to understand the attack scenario. Because in pen testing and OT, the attacks are maybe similar, but the approach is far different from each other. In networking we use a nmap, but when you OT, when you use a nmap full scan, it simply downs your systems as well. So approach is different, so we have to tell them what will be the approach when we do the OT testing.
Okay. Thank you, Tapan. We have a live question for you.
Okay.
Is foundation important for cybersecurity?
Yes, it's very important. When I started my career, I didn't completed my CC in a batch. Okay, so I thought
Hmm.
maybe network basics is sufficient, so I can get into it. But slowly when 1 year, I completed my 1 year experience, then I get to know that I'm lacking somewhere because I'm not able to understand servers, because servers also have some networking background because protocols are there. so I'm not able to understand the server part. When when I'm seeing that the cloud is growing day by day, so in order to make your cloud instances, you also need to understand about networking part. So networking is a mother of cyber security. See, in cyber security, we in pen testing especially, we have two different fields. Nitin also agree with me. One is a network part.
Yeah.
From network you can start network security, then server security, then you can go with the like firewall and these other products. Okay, so then you go into the cloud security, then IoT, and last is OT. So in web application, in coding part, basically you start with web security, then API security, mobile app security, and last is source code. So this is the two branches that is growing into the pen testing part. So yes, networking is mother of everything.
Yes, I agree. Networking is very important. It's basically the basic you need to know.
You are also from a SOC background, so you understand it very well.
Yes, yes, yeah, I understand that. Networking without you need to network is the first thing you need to know. So,
Yes.
so yeah. So my next thing I want to ask you is, aviation security is also listed in your skills. This one.
Hmm.
So airports and aircraft systems are OT2, the SCADA, navigation and baggage and fueling systems. How does India's aviation sector security posture compare to banking? Is anyone even looking at it right now?
Very good question, sir. Because nobody is talking about this right now. Everybody is
Yes,
talking like compliance should be satisfied. That's a single thing. Because see, we all like we all three are into the cyber security. So it's not your college course. Now these days we are seeing BC in cyber security, BTech in cyber security. Previously, cyber security is a small segment. Like student going into the BCA computer science, maybe in the software developer, he will be the app developer, web developer, but not about the cyber security. Cyber security is a separate segment, and in that, aviation security is aviation security, automobile security. It's a different one. So nobody's talking about the penetration testing. Okay, especially in India, I'm telling out of the India, when you see in China, in Russia, so they are focused, they are primarily focused on these type of technologies. Now these days, the cars are getting connected, even the flights are getting hacked. Not especially, not I would say hacked, but the interference is there because they are all running on the waves. Okay, so when we have these signals, okay, wireless signals, at that time manipulation can be done easily. So as a compliance part, we are satisfied, everything is at placed. But when you do the penetration testing, then you actually know that how much it is secure. So see, when you are riding a bike, you are having a you are wearing a helmet. Now what is the strength of this helmet? You can test when you get a ISI certified helmet, or maybe when you put this helmet on the road and check if it is breakable or not. So nobody is breaking right now. They are building a helmet, but nobody is testing what will be the robustness of this helmet. So that's a
Correct.
important thing that I need to highlight, that yes, in aviation basically we are looking at the compliance part, we are satisfying the controls, because without compliance we can't run the industry. But when we do the pen testing, then actually we get to know that yes, there is a lack of security now these days. Even GPS is spoofing, multiple type of attacks has been seen in the last years. And even the aviation industry also highlighted this thing, that we have faced a lot of attacks on our that aircrafts. Even in the ATC also they are experienced a lot of attacks regarding the wireless, because wireless means Wi-Fi hacking. Most of the people, because we all belong from cybersecurity background, so when we talk about wireless, so it says that it's a Wi-Fi hacking, but the wireless security is much beyond this.
yes, yes. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So one more question I want to ask, I want to input on this. The recent Mumbai power grid attack was attributed to the Chinese APT group. So
Hmm.
as you understand both the OT systems and the law enforcement side, investigation side, can you give us your input or walk us through what the attack chain probably looked like from initial access to impact?
Okay, so see, when we heard the news of any of the cyber incident, so the first thing that we need to
Mhm.
see, like, what is the initial point of it, how the hacker sitting. in other country getting access to your system. Now it's not a one day attack. Like today he thought that I wanted to hack Nitin sir laptop and he hacked that laptop. No, it's a long process. Even now these
Yes.
days the countries are having their own APT groups. Even China is having the APT group, Russia's are having the
Yes.
APT
Yes.
group. Their work is primarily to penetrate into the other country network and be there, and that we generally call as a persistent access. Be there and record the activity, try to do escalation into the network, try to map the network, and whenever we will tell you, at that time just down the network. So it's not a one day activity. Initial access, initial access was can be a social engineering attack, because phishing is a common attack now these days. Okay, and
Yes.
maybe some credential compromise has happened, and then they enter into the network. After that they map the network. It takes time, and then they attack on the network. So once the power grid down, definitely most of the operation will get hampered.
First attackers do lots of reconnaissance, right? Then they get the informations and details. Then like it takes years as well. Immediately attack cannot possible, right?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. This APT groups take time. It's not like 2 days, 3 days. It takes months
And
sometimes.
as you mentioned that power grid attack in Mumbai, so I would like to add one point over here when you talk about OT security. So recently, when the war is happening, so Tapan, you may aware like the America has also attacked on Iran, and one next malware was used for Iranian nuclear plant. So like nowadays like people are not talking on even infrastructure not that much secure. When we talk about the OT security, it is most important than like previously when we talk about the application and mobile application security, the infrastructure IT security. Now the this OT security, the power grid, the water treatment plant, these are more important because this can uh, this can be more risky. This can be when any nuclear plant get hacked, it can impact very badly on any entire state, right? Any city. So I think it is most important. We should look into it. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Nitin, I totally agree. One more question I want to ask about OT. So, Tapan, when you talk to CISOs about OT security, you mentioned they're not too receptive. So, how do you make them understand it matters?
See, do you know Chinese language?
Yeah. Yes. Chinese?
Chinese language.
No, I'm not aware.
Okay, so basically it's like that only. A person coming from a IT background explaining him about the OT security, it's a biggest challenge, because he is not aware about the background of it. He is not aware about the environment
Okay.
of it. So
Okay.
that's why, like, it's a biggest challenge for us also to explain him why it is required. See, I just taken a small example of a segmentation. A segmentation needs to be there. Like, we in networking we create VLAN or subnetting, so that we can segregate the
Mm.
network into small part. Attack happening at one network cannot enter into the another network. Okay, so if we are explaining them from the OT background, because the OT architecture is different from the IT. In IT, data is more confidential, or in OT, availability is more important, because they can't shut down the power plants. If plants
Yes,
goes shut
exactly.
down for 1 minute, 2 minutes, it's a huge losses for them. Data is nothing for
Yes.
them, but availability is more important. So they both sectors are having different requirement, different architecture. In IT, we generally follow TCP/IP OSI model. There in OT, we follow Purdue model. So when the approach is different, different layers have different components. In Purdue model, we have different layers, and in that, different components are there. So it's a little bit hard to explain them, but see, so with an open mind, and welcome new ideas, and understand that security is an important part for our organization. They generally understand this and they work on it.
Okay. Yeah. Next, I want to ask a few questions on automotive security, automotive cyber security, which is not
Mhm.
much focused on according to me. So
Okay.
basically, the, Modern cars are basically moving computers. It has 100 million lines of code, Wi-Fi, OBD port, OBD2 port, GPS, and whatnot. There are a lot of things involved. So my point being, there are a lot of attack vectors. The CAN bus injection, the test on Tesla, there was that XSS injection, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken, and the Jeep Cherokee also had a few attacks, the remote engine kill via cellular, and Tesla Model
Yes.
3 that was. So basically, there are a lot of things possible in automotive attacks vectors. So I want to ask Nitin and Tapan both about this. So can you walk us through a realistic automotive attack scenario? What can an attacker actually do once they have access to the victim's vehicle
Okay.
system?
So imagine you are going on highway, expressway, and you are at around 100 plus speed. Okay. What if an attacker gain the access of your chipset of your car, and
Hmm.
he can do anything, like he can uh, he can send a command to turn around 180. Okay. So what happened? Just imagine. So it's a risk for your
Quite
life. Okay.
disastrous.
What happened, like they can get the access of your entire car. They can uh, do anything, like they can lock your car, they can theft your car. Okay. So your car is parking, and they can get the access of your car and without your key. Okay. And they can just run away with your car. So yeah, this can be happened, like using that.
Yeah. And Tapan, your input regarding this?
So basically, in the cars, there are different type of attack that we are experienced because I'm having my own workshop where I used to test the cars. Okay, dummy cars, like it's not a latest one, but the old one. Okay, so
Okay.
there we have tested multiple type of attack. One is a relay based attack, where we have seen that the car basically relies on the that key. Okay, so you put your
Hmm.
key inside the car, and then you can start your car, and you can start the engine as well. So as
Hmm.
in the network part, we have seen that if you wanted to transfer data from one device to another device via the cable, okay, and when you are using a LAN cable, so it can run the data up to 100 meters. After that, your signal
Okay.
stops degrading. Okay, so we
Okay.
put a switch over there, electric device which regenerates it and transfer the data again. So let's suppose if there will be a 200 meters away, your system is away from 200 meters, you can put a 100-meter
Hmm.
cable. After that, put a switch. Okay, and then again 100-meter cable. Same goes with the Wi-Fi. We have the Wi-Fi repeater. Here also the attackers are doing the same thing. The key is placed in your home, so definitely key is having some kind of a range. Okay, so one device will be there. Okay, this is called a relay attack especially. So one device
Hmm.
will be there nearby your home, okay, which captures your RF, that is a radio frequency. Okay, and another one is to replicate that particular frequency nearby the car. So it's basically replicating the increase in the range of your key. So automatically your car will receiving that same range, and you can unlock the car. So these are the attacks that are there. Even the API, because your cars now getting connected with the applications cloud. So definitely there will be a, like, when you introduce your OT with your IT part, so definitely APIs are there. You are able to access the API as well. Okay, so if the APIs are not properly secure, because when we communicate with the client for doing the web testing, they usually say that in web testing API to cover hota hai na. That's a simple question. Okay, because APIs are
Yeah.
fetching data from website only. No, but the standards are
Mm.
different. For web, standard is different. API standard is different. Approach is different. In API we use Postman, in with burp suit. In web application we use browser with burp suit. So sometimes the vulnerabilities lies there only, what they think and where the actually gap is there.
Okay. Very interesting. Next thing I wanna, since you mentioned the security testing for automotive OEMs, so basically what I want to ask is Tata, Mahindra, Maruti, Kia India are shipping with OT nowadays. Are are any of them doing any meaningful security testing before launching their vehicles here in India?
See, previously it was not there, but now these days, yes, they are doing, because the software that they are embedding into their OT environment. Let's suppose, the apps they are having, so they usually conduct a security testing. I'm working for a Hero Motor Corp as well. So the,
Okay.
when you go to visit the service center, they have the application where they feed your information, and from there they can get the history of your, like vehicle, when you have done the services, what is the last record
Hmm.
of it. So this particular systems are getting tested now these days. They are, testing these applications where they are, transferring the data. Yes, now the India is aware about that, that cars can, cars is not only about the motor and the wheel, but it's more about the software part, because we are making a next generation cars where driverless things are
Exactly.
there. So in that situation, definitely they need to focus on it. And yeah, they are working on it now these days. Pen testing is included.
So Tapan, if you are, I think you are already aware, like you are working in this. So like uh, there was earlier there was no any regulatory for
Yes.
automotive security, right? But I think like there is one regulatory is been implemented. I think it will be implemented within 2 to 3 years. Is there any regulatory? I think there was no regulatory, right?
Yes, yes, they have it right now.
Yeah.
Even ISO also
Okay.
21434 is there already, which is automotive cybersecurity engineering standard is there. And right now we are working in the direction of a AIS 13189 and I think 190. So these are the things are that, like, which is a cybersecurity management system or secure software update management system, because these hardwares needs to be updated. So the secured update is required. If the update is having a, like, if the company is pushing an update and it's a faulty update, it can, crash the softwares of the cars as well, and it's really hard to roll back that action again. So yes, now they are, following these standards, and the organization are focusing on it. The latest generation organization are especially focusing on it, those who wanted to make something different from the regular one.
Yes, even I agree too. We need to have a cybersecurity standard for automotive security or regulatory standard because it's becoming quite important these days. One more question. Tapan, you list automotive security as your core expertise. From an auditing perspective, are Indian automotive manufacturers engaging security auditors before vehicle launch? Is this started yet?
See, previously it was not there, because the machine was only the, hardware one only, because it's an engine, some basic features of it. But now these days the software testings are there. Okay, the software that they are building, because your, car is getting connected with the software. So yes, whenever they are onboarding any new softwares, or in the whenever they are purchasing any new software regarding their car, so yes, the testing is there. Not specifically directly the manufacturer, but if they are onboarding the devices from, let's suppose we are right now doing the podcast. Okay, in that podcast we are using the gadgets that is, that we have purchased from different vendors. That you are using a iPad from Apple, so Apple have already done the audit, and you are using it. So in this way right now they are doing it directly. They are not allowing any pen testers to pen test their cars. No, right now it's not there. But the organization who developed the firmware, the organization who developed the chipset, they are asking them the certificate that have they conducted the security testing or not.
Okay, okay. Yeah, one more thing I want to add on this. I want to ask on this. What would it take for India to mandate automotive cybersecurity standards? What should RI or the Ministry of Road Transport be doing right now to get this regulation?
I think already, as you mentioned, like they are already working like their Ministry of Transport and Road Highways. So they are already working and they have implemented, as I Tapan said, like ASI 189 and 190. So it is being implemented and yeah, so they are working.
Yeah, so this needs to be implemented. So next, I'm going to talk on mobile security. So basically, that would become India's biggest attack surface. because we have basically 750 million smartphone users and 148 billion transactions per month in UPI. So a lot of transactions happening. So there are a lot of attack vectors possible in mobile smartphones. Malicious APKs, side loading third-party APKs, and spywares, and not to mention app security gaps. So I want to ask this question to Tapan. You do mobile app pen testing professionally. What are the most critical vulnerabilities you find in Indian banking and fintech mobile apps, which if you can share? Hello, am I audible?
This question is for Tapan or me?
Yes, this question is for Tapan. Hello, Tapan, are you online? Nitin, you can answer.
Sure. So, see, when you talk about the mobile application, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah. So you do mobile pen testing professionally. What are the most critical vulnerabilities you find in banking apps and fintech apps right now in mobile pen
Uh,
testing?
so, when you talk about the critical vulnerabilities, so lots of vulnerabilities we had find previously, SQL injections and this accesses, broken object level authorizations. So, lots of vulnerabilities are there, which was found and which was in the banking application, and lots of
Yeah, I'm
application
audible.
which actually were working, and we have patch dice as well.
Tapan, are you online?
Am I audible? Am I audible, please?
Yeah,
Yes, yes, you are audible now.
yeah. Now you're audible. Now you're audible. Did you get the question which I asked right now?
Okay. So the question was about the Android. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. What are the most critical vulnerabilities you find in Indian banking and fintech apps? The common ones, I mean.
I think there's some network issue maybe.
We have some network issue. Okay, we'll get back to that. So, Nitin, from an AppSec perspective, how different is mobile security pen testing from web app pen testing? How are the typical Indian mobile? What do in the context of Indian mobile apps? What vulnerabilities you found?
So see, when you talk about the mobile application and web application, also there's two things like when you talk about web application, so attack surface is not that much. When you talk about mobile application, so attack surface is very high because now you are installing the application. The source code is at the user side, okay, and so when you talk about web application, the attack surface is only at the browser side. There is no server at all. Uh, like and so attacker can get the idea of your application because he has the whole source code, okay, and he can try multiple things, okay, and when you talk, there's a SQL finding vulnerabilities, so by using that they can exploit multiple things. So yeah, there is a multiple attack surface in the Android and in web application as well, but there is a low chance for that.
Okay. Next, I want to ask this question to both Tapan and Nathan. Uh, so basically, I believe everybody has heard of the Pegasus project, that
Yes,
spyware,
yes.
which infected a lot of actors, not to mention politicians, and a lot of people at one time. So I want to ask about that. So basically, that revealed many Indian citizens were targeted by commercial spyware, which was Pegasus. What should this tell CISOs about how they should think about mobile security?
See, I would suggest CISO can when you talk about the Pegasus, okay, so Pegasus was very prominent that time, and Pegasus was infected in multiple iOS devices, okay, many celebrities and VIP.
Hold on one second. Are we online still? Is there any issue? Uh, So there's some issue.
Uh-huh. No problem.
Yeah, sure. It went off.
Hello, can you hear
Huh?
me?
It went off. No,
Mhm.
no problem.
We're back. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So when we talk about this
Yeah.
Pegasus, I was
Start
saying.
from the. Yeah. Go on.
Okay, I was talking about the Pegasus. So like as you are aware, like Pegasus was in previously, and it was impacted multiple iOS devices. Talking about all the VIPs, celebrities, politicians. So from the CISO for the CISO, like I would suggest like they should um, see, you cannot do the Pegasus was like embedded previously in that iOS devices. There was no any patch for that.
Exactly.
CISO can what like they can think like they cannot do anything. It is
It was
already
0 day.
embedded. Huh?
At that time, it was 0 day attack.
At that time zero. So for 0 day attack, like there is no any patch,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Tapan, are you online? Uh, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me? One second.
Okay. We'll go with the next question. Uh, Yeah, next I want to ask, which is a common thing here in
Hear
Indian
me now?
context. So India has huge side loading culture. Basically, install third party apps.
Mhm.
So in third party APKs, they install due to bypassing payment restrictions. Not to mention, there are a lot of vendors who provide third APKs to install too. So side loading is a very common thing here. Is this fundamentally a user education problem, or do OEMs and Google need to do more about this
See, I would say
particular issue?
both. Like when you talk about the OEM user education and the OEM, Google should do so. Like see, like education is also important for cyber awareness is more important for the normal user. They should learn cyber awareness should be provided for the normal user, because see, user people are using Android devices and the applications they are installing, but they don't know the basic permissions what they are providing, right? So if you know, like when you install any application, application asks you multiple permissions, but sometimes what people are doing, they don't know, they just install the application. Okay, they even don't check the permission what application is asking for example, a simple calculator if you're installing, so it doesn't require your location, it doesn't require your contact details, it doesn't
Exactly.
require your storage. All this require, but sometimes applications are taking all the permissions from you. So people education is also important, and yes, Google should also provide more into security, like if someone is using any third party application, so it should not allow for the end users. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. Is Tapan online? I'm not able to hear his voice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
I'm not able to hear Tapan's voice.
Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
From his, so I'll continue right now. We'll continue. Oh, yes, Nathan, I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So basically, permission should not be given for all the apps. All the permissions should not be allowed. But people, I believe it's an education problem too,
Education
because
problem
they
as well,
allow
because
access to everything. Like when you install an
Hello?
app, it gives you access to
okay,
everything.
I would ask one question to you.
Hmm.
So let's say at your at your home, your father, maybe mother, so they are old person, okay, so
Yes,
they may
I agree.
use Android, but they are installing multiple applications as well, but they don't know what permissions they are
Permission should
giving,
be,
right?
yeah, should be
So
allowed.
this education, the basic education should be provided to everyone, and even we are working on this, like we are I'm also spreading cyber awareness to the normal people, so how you can use the Android uh, devices, and how can they be very secure on the ground level.
Yes, I totally agree too. I mean, like all apps nowadays ask GPS permission. I don't know why GPS is required for every app.
Yes.
So that should not be given.
If
And
there is any intention, like if you are using Uber, of course GPS is
obviously,
required. But if you are using a normal calculator, if you are using a normal gaming application, why GPS is required?
yeah,
But
there
they're
are
still
some shady apps which ask GPS access
GPS.
for.
Why they are taking GPS? So there should be one regulation from the Google side as well. If
Mm.
they ask if any application is taking unnecessary permission, so it should not be allowed. And the normal people should also understand which permission you should provide, and there is an option you can allow and disallow. Okay, so yeah, it should be while you provide the cyber awareness, people will get more aware of with these things.
Yes, that totally makes sense. Even
Yeah.
Google needs to be more proactive on this.
Correct.
So there are plenty of third party, not even on the store. There are plenty of apps which ask for mic access, GPS
Correct.
access, which it has nothing to do with mic and GPS.
Of course.
So, but still they ask. So these apps, according to me, look shady and needs to, Google needs to implement better controls on these apps.
Correct.
Yeah. So next, I want to talk about the Indian context. What India lacks and what needs to be implemented. So basically, if you talk about in US, there is FS ISAC in finance, H ISAC in health, and E ISAC in energy. So and they all share threat intel with each other. So but in India, we have only certain which has good controls, but it has no real time intelligence sharing between the
Correct.
industries. For example, there's BFSI, healthcare, energy, defense. So these are all independently. This one there is no intelligence sharing between this.
Correct.
So I want to basically, and we have a and currently since 2023 we do have a digital personal data protection act with penalty but basically it has no penalties. It has only notifications. The recent DPDP.
No, no, DPDP have they have the penalties,
They
and
have
there's
penalties.
a huge penalties.
Okay.
But like once it will be implemented at the ground level, there's a
Okay.
huge penalty. So yeah, but it will take time. Like I think it will be implemented within this year or maybe the next year. But upcoming, like it is a very pain for all the organizations because they are taking all the details and informations. Organizations are just fetching all the informations and details from the users. Okay, they're storing the data, but they
Mhm.
don't maintain the data. They just play with the data. Okay,
Okay.
they share the data. Okay, for example, I would give you one example. Whenever you go to any store, okay, and you
Mhm.
purchase something, and they ask you to ask your mobile number to give you the bill, but there's no requirement of
Yes, yes.
mobile number,
I
right? You remember,
totally
right?
agree.
So
Every supermarket asks for
supermarket
mobile
asks
number
you mobile
and
number,
they share the number.
but you have the right. You can deny for mobile number. Okay, you can say like I will not give you mobile number. You give me the bill, and they have to they give you. If they will not give you bill, you can go to consumer court. So like
Exactly.
these things means in India especially. In other countries, especially in US and UK, there are different regulatories and frameworks. GDPR are there, and lots of regulations, so
Mm.
they cannot play with the data. But in India, there is no regulation. So now DPDP is coming, and I think it will make more impact.
Yeah, it should make more impact because earlier there was some health data leakage also.
Correct.
All patients' health data was found on
Correct.
online.
Correct. Right.
So basically, data should not be shared. Personal data should not be shared.
Correct.
One more thing. um I believe VAPT should also be done mandatory on all the apps before releasing them. So basically, VAPT is not mandatory for all the apps before releasing here, if I'm not mistaken. That will go a long way if they implement
See,
that.
when as Tapan already has mentioned,
Mhm.
lots of organizations are just following doing the BAPT and doing the security testing just
Mm.
for compliance. Okay,
Just for
just to
that's a
meet the
good word. Yes,
compliance.
just for
So
compliance.
like it should be mandatory, but lots of organizations are not also focusing on that.
Okay.
Correct.
Next question. So, uh, uh, is Tapan online?
No.
Okay. Uh, am I audible, Tapan? I want to ask you a question regarding auditing, regarding Yeah, yeah, Nitin. Meanwhile, I want to ask you this.
Mm.
So, if you were Nitin, if you were advising certain, what's the one policy change with the biggest impact? Will policy change which you will suggest, which will have the biggest impact on the Indian application security?
So I would not suggest any policy to be changed, but
Okay.
yes, I just suggest whatever the policy. See, making policy is not that much important. The following and the due diligence and due care should be there.
Implementing and ground.
Implementation of the policies should be there, because see, we know a lot of policies, lot of regulatories are already there, but it is not being followed. So I would say, like, as we talk about DPDPA, so it is coming, but it should not be only as a notification and people are just following for the compliance. It should be properly at the ground level followed, and people should like the fine should be implemented.
Mhm.
Then only something will change.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too.
Correct.
It should be implemented on ground level too. So yeah. So next, I want to talk about careers in cybersecurity. So we in cybersecurity, basically we have blue teaming, which I am into.
Okay.
There is SOC L1, L2, and L3. There is incident response. There is threat hunter, and detection engineer, and basically SOC manager. In red teaming, we are junior pen tester, so bug bounty hunter, engineer, and and then we have the GRC roles, so cloud security roles, DFIR, digital forensics and incident response, threat intelligence, OT security, automotive security, and mobile security. So I want to ask both of you these questions regarding careers.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, you both taken very different paths: application security, bug bounty versus auditing, forensics, law enforcement. For a student watching this, what's the one thing you wish somebody had told you on day one when you
Okay.
started out?
Okay, so see, for the students and for this audience, I would say, like, whenever you start with a career. So when I started my career, so see, when you are coming into cybersecurity, watching this just movies, Hollywood movies, hacking and all, this is right. Okay, so you watch this and you come into cybersecurity, but make your mind clear that there's change, different real challenges. Okay, in the market, you will not be doing this just the hacking technically. Lots of things should be learned. You should learn the documentation will be at the end, you will be reporting, right? So
Exactly.
just finding the bugs and vulnerabilities is not important. You have to report, you have to make the report properly. You need to understand the controls and policies in the organization, right? And you have to coordinate with the different teams. Okay, you have to like, lots of things are there. So real things are very different from the movies. So start learning basic things. You should start understanding the computers, how the computer works, how the network works. Okay, the basic things. And you should learn about the codings. Okay, different programming languages. You should learn how the operating system works, Linux and Windows, troubleshooting. So the basic thing, once you start learning with these things, then you can go to day by day, you will learn multiple things, and you can make your career better.
Yes, I totally agree. For students, cybersecurity means hacking. So
Exactly.
nobody concentrates on networking and all. Only hacking, Instagram hacking, and all those things. It's to focus the basics first. And as said, we have plenty of career options from blue teaming to red teaming and GRC compliance
Mm.
roles too.
So
So
see what happened, like,
lot of roles basically.
in the real world, pictures are different. Like when you see these things, okay, for learning purpose it is fine. You hack the Wi-Fi, you hack the Instagram, that is fine.
Exactly.
But in the organization, the picture is different. Okay,
Totally different.
you will be working, and certain there's a certain boundary. You cannot do anything you want. Okay,
Yes, yes.
there's a boundary. You need the approval for hacking. Uh,
You need to follow a checklist.
exactly, there's a checklist. You need to follow the checklist. There's some scopes which you need to follow. So, like, these things are important. So and one disclaimer I would say to the students who they are learning, you you should not come into cybersecurity if you are just excited watching the movies. Okay,
Yeah, makes a
So
lot of
be ready for the real challenges. Yeah.
yes, makes a lot of sense. Totally agree with you. Yeah. And regarding OT security and automotive and mobile security, I want to ask you one question. So OT security, mobile security, basically emerging career tracks.
Mhm.
What should students specifically do in this year, 2026, to position themselves in these niche, high demand roles?
Yes, of course. So as Tapan has already mentioned, for the OT and for the automotive security. So of course, there's a huge scope because uh, now people are just started looking into this, but there are very huge requirement. There's no that much experts are there in the market, and even I'm also looking into it. I'm also learning a lot of things into the automotive security. I'm trying
Mhm.
to gain knowledge regarding this. So yeah, people should, but you have to start with the basics.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. So I want to, before closing, I want to ask some rapid fire questions.
Sure.
Uh, One tool every aspiring security professional should master first.
Uh, there is no such one tool you should master, but I would suggest like you can start with Kali Linux, Bash,
Super.
monitoring the networks and all. And but there's a lot of things you need to learn.
Yeah. So any free resource for VAPT or bug bounty in 2026? Anything new?
Uh, like you can start with Hack the Box, try Hack Me. So these are the platform which actually provide you the real scenario of hacking. Okay, so you can learn the basic things. You can watch the multiple videos on the YouTube.
Mhm.
I also learned. I also followed lots of videos on the YouTube. You can just uh, search and watch. And now the era of AI. So whatever you want to learn, you can just take the help of AI as well. So you can get more exposed.
Yes, I
Yeah.
totally agree. Hack the box and
Try Hack Me.
try hack me
Correct.
hyper do give a lot of exposure to
Port figure. You can use port
sports
figure
vehicle
as well.
labs, give a
Correct.
lot of exposure to new students who are just starting up
Yes.
here, and it gives you a lot of if you don't have work experience, this one gives you a lot of exposure
Right.
before
Right.
when you're starting.
Right. Because it actually has a real scenario, a real lab. It will so you can work like a real environment.
Yes. Uh, if you could fix one thing about India's cybersecurity posture overnight, what would it be?
At one night nothing is impossible, nothing is possible. Like at what night what you can do, but when
One thing. I meant one thing
up
to
one
improve our posture.
as I already mentioned, like in India, if you want making policy is not important, but implementation is important. So I would say like everything should be implemented. Policy is also important, but implementation should be there at the ground level.
Okay, so yeah, it was very nice with all this input. So yeah, so I'll be signing off this one. Thank you for Tapan. Thank you, Nitin. So this is the end of the episode.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay, डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया ना?
हाँ
Did
डिस्कनेक्ट
Tapan go offline? Huh?
ये यहाँ से डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया आई गेस जस्ट चेक दिस
Did Tapan go offline? He didn't. After that, वो आया नहीं.